Hello everyone and welcome back to the Wizard Staff. I'm your host Guy.
And I'm Blake.
And we are two jolly novices who like to talk about EDH. Today, we would like to welcome you to the third annual MTG 31 Days of Christmas giveaway, Day 9.
Welcome.
Yeah, we've partnered with a group of 31 MTG related content creators to bring you 31 days of awesome giveaway prizes. If you haven't already entered for your chance to win, I'll drop a link down below in our show for future episodes. Yesterday we had an awesome video from Joey and the Beanstalk, which I'll link down below. And then make sure to check out tomorrow's video, which will be uploaded by Mr. Beavers, who is doing this really cool box of just putting a new thing every day. He's got some conspiracy packs, battle bomb packs, I think there's a commander deck or two in there. It's just kind of like a big box of fun that you'll get to open up.
It's like a gift.
Oh, yes, exactly, Blake. That's what this time of year is for, gifts. Mm-hmm. Thank you for your witty banter. You did say that you'd provide that for me. I've tried really hard to get into this kind of giveaway program before, and I'm really happy that this year I was able to complete the application completely. In previous years, I've just filled out half of it and been like, I'll finish it later. I'm sure it won't fill up, but then both times it filled up. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Third time's the charm.
Yes, we have some awesome sponsors: Ultra Pro, Card Sphere, Card Kingdom, Exotic MTG, the Lotus Council, Geekified, Ultra Sleeves, and Ink Gaming. Thank you very much. And we hope that you enjoy today's video, which will be going over the top MTG gifts to give for about $30-ish. I did some extensive market research by going onto a Facebook group saying, if you could give someone something for $30, what would it be? And the responses poured in. We had some really great stuff. Most of it was just what we're going to be going over today. So yeah, if you don't know what you want to give someone, or if you're last minute Christmas shopping, we got you covered. All right. So the number one most said thing on this list of what would you give someone if you had $30, well, we've had some great Commander precons this year. In fact, we've had the most that we've had in any year. We've had 9 total. But the 4 most recent ones have been pretty well priced for about $20-ish. You could probably get them on Card Kingdom or TCG Player. All of these have some great cards like Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, Command Tower, and they're all great entry points. They all have some linear strategies that make it very easy for new players to pilot. So great. And we're going to just kind of give you a rundown of each one, and hopefully you can pick from those and decide what you want to give to someone. Maybe you're just trying to bring in a new friend to your playgroup. Well, not right now, I guess, because who's playing Paper Magic? The first one is the Lands Wrath, which came out with Zendikar Rising, which is Obun, Moldight Ancestor, and it is a 1 red, green, white legendary creature elf spirit. At the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 target land you control becomes an XX elemental creature with trample and haste until end of turn, where X is Obun's power. It's still a land. And then it has the very famous Landfall, and whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Pretty simple. Want to play a lot of lands, make those lands into creatures, and then attack. You got some great reprints in here like Omnath, Locus of Rage, Mina and Den, Abundance, Return of the Wild Speaker. I'm pretty pleased with how this deck has come out, and I hope future decks and these decks have all been pretty great, but I hope that WotC has taken some notes and will continue to deliver on some great EDH precons.
Yeah, and it's almost guaranteed that WotC will print even more landfall-related cards in the future, so this card will almost always be relevant and like get new toys, basically.
For sure. Blake, do you want to talk about the next one? Because, you love Dimir so much.
I really do love Dimir. So this next one is Sneak Attack, Anawan the Rune Thief. He is 2 blue, black, legendary creature, vampire rogue. It's a 2/4. And he says other rogues you control get +1/+1. But more importantly, whenever one or more rogues you control deal combat damage to a player, that player mills a card for each 1 damage dealt to them. If that player mills at least 1 creature card this way, you draw a card. So it's kind of asking you to play all these low drops rogue creatures, and you swing in turn after turn, and you start getting a huge hand refilling every turn. And a lot of people were excited when this first dropped, and I still see people making gameplay videos and really excited about this card. It's got cards such as Una, Queen of the Fae, Black Blade Reforged, Consuming Aberration, and Gonti, Lord of Luxury. I personally love Una, Queen of the Fae, my favorite card. Just gotta say that real quick.
Gotta give a quick plug for your Bay. I think it's a little too early to say, but this definitely seems like the most popular commander to come out of Zendikar Rising so far. I see a lot of people building around this deck, and this is a great pickup point, the pre-constructed deck, just because you got a lot of the kind of like core skeleton, and then you can go on and just add in some new cards, really.
Yeah, because rogues, generally speaking, are pretty affordable to buy, and it tunes up the deck really fast.
It feels like it's a creature type that you see almost every set.
That too, yeah.
Alright, so this next one is a little more recent. It came out with Commander Legends. It's Reap the Tides, and it's, I believe, Asi?
I've still heard it pronounced 5 different ways.
Alright, Tyrant of Gyre Strait. You may play legendary creature Serpent. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. And whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, where have I seen that before? You may draw a card. So again, very linear. You just want to play lands, draw cards, and I mean, what better deck to play lands than Simic? I mean, not to say that Simic needed more help, but we got this. You have Ramunap Excavator, Avenger of Zendikar, which has been reprinted, I believe, 3 or 4 times this year. You had the Secret Lair, Double Masters, this instance, so maybe it is only 3. Yeah, and then Nezahal Primal Tide, that Elder Dinosaur. But yeah, I am pretty pleased. Again, the deck just kind of says this is what you want to do.
Yep. So our last one is the Arm of Battle deck. It is Wylith, Soul of the Steel, and Wylith costs 1 red, white. He's a legendary creature, human warrior, 2/2, and he has trample. Whenever Wylith attacks, draw a card for each aura and equipment attached to it. This is sort of like the first Voltron precon that's ever really been made. And this strategy really focuses on dealing that 21 points of commander combat damage to your opponents, one at a time. And Boros is one of those trickier color identities to build for, to say the least, but I do think that this strategy can be viable in the right pods. Just start piling on a bunch of auras and equipment and buff him up and just get in there. And Boros's main struggle, one of its main struggles is draw, and Wylith, well, kind of solves that problem somewhat. This deck also has Sunforger, Sigarda's Aid, SRAM Senior Edificer, Audric Lunarch Marshal, Fire Shrieker, and Blackblade Reforged again.
Yeah, of all the decks, I feel like this was the most interesting one to me because I think it kind of took a step out of previous deck building philosophies that WotC has done with their other precons, because it does have that Voltron mindset where you're just trying to make Wylith as big as possible, and then you're going to draw a bunch of cards. And I hope that WotC really gets to kind of experiment and make more decks like that in the future, where they're, you know, focusing on these more niche strategies instead of just kind of doing the same. What is it? 4 green, blue. You may play an additional land on each of your turns, kind of thing. But yeah, and even though it is a niche strategy, they did a good job of, like, you know, saying, like, this is what you're trying to do. You're trying to get out your commander, and you want it to be big, and then you will draw cards. So they're making it easy for you to understand as well.
Yep, Voltron. You just go out there, swing every turn, and beat face. Hope you win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
So those are the 4 precons that you could get now for $30 or less. And so the second number one thing that, you know, my market research group told me about was, you know, you have $30, and someone came up with this great list of cards that you could just, you know, kind of buy for $30 and give to someone as, like, here is the beginnings of any deck you want. So you got Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, Burnished Heart, Skull Clamp, Elixir of Immortality, Mind Stone, Terramorphic Expanse, Evolving Wilds, Solomon Grundy, you know, Solomon Simulacrum.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone call him that.
I feel like I have. So, Reliquary Tower, Rogue's Passage, Buried Ruin, and Ghost Quarter. So, these are cards that can go into any deck. They don't have any color restrictions. Not to say that they should be going into every deck, but they, I think, are good cards that have very basic, easy to understand abilities. And if you're just looking for, you know, a good starting point for someone, totally get them this. Or I believe you can get almost all these cards in foil now, so could always make this like a foil package of, like, staples for a friend or someone who has been playing, and just say, like, hey, here's some bling for your commander deck.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some fancy versions of some of these cards. There's definitely some fancy Ghost Quarters. There's definitely some fancy Sol Rings. I can believe it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that you should buy your friend the Kaladesh remastered Sol Ring. You can buy Sol Ring for like $3, or you can buy Sol Ring for $300. Or you can buy 100 Sol Rings for $300.
Ooh, I like that idea.
That's a whole commander deck of just Sol Rings. Can you imagine that?
I can.
The hard part would be then to just, how do you play one of them? Because if they all are in your deck, well, I guess you're already breaking the rule of having more than one copy of a card.
Just rule 0.
But let's
just
forget that. Okay, so you have 100 Sol Rings, and I guess Sol Ring has to be your commander at that point too.
Okay.
But then how do you play one Sol Ring?
Don't overthink.
You don't have the mana for it.
Stop.
Oh my god. I guess that's when you have to get at least one mana crypt for them. Alright, and now on to our last best gift to give for $30. A pack of accessories. So what's 100 sleeves worth? About $10. A deck box set, the Saturn ones that are like 100, that can hold 100 cards from Ultra Pro, those are like $12. Playmats can be generally from the $12 to $15 range, and then a nice set of gamer dice, $15. So you can kind of like bundle up some of those things, and you know, if you want to get someone some colored sleeves to go with their colored commander, or to match the deck box, or you know, you get them a playmat that has their favorite art of a favorite card. The options are limitless, truly. And you can get all these from Ultra Pro, who is a sponsor on this show. Well, that's kind of the end of best gifts to give. Blake, I'm going to ask you one question that I did not write in the show notes. So, sorry for the... Oh, what's the word?
The surprise.
On the spot. On the spot is what I was trying to think of. I guess if you could have any one thing MTG related for Christmas, what would it be?
Ooh. I actually would like... those life counters that you can rotate both sides, and like one side controls like the 10s and one side controls the 1 through 9 to keep track of life totals. I think they were in like certain Commander products. Those are kind of hard to find, and those are really nice.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure
You
what they're
want one
called.
of those?
Yeah, I think they're called spin down life counters, I think. Something like that.
All right. Sounds pretty nice. I don't think you're about to ask me, so I'm just going to answer.
I'm selfish.
I mean, other than obviously Imperial Seal, which I've wanted forever.
Oh my god.
But I would never make anyone buy that for me, I guess, because it's not on the reserve list.
I mean, you're my best friend, but I don't have quite that much cash to drop on you.
Right. I guess, and if we're also like thinking of like price limits, actually, I would probably just prefer some like nice paintbrushes and some nice paint to alter some cards, kind of like equipment for that, because that's a good way of blinging out a deck too.
Yeah.
Which is what I've been doing this year. All right. I also have realized we've gone through this entire episode without even saying what our prize is for our winner. And so our winner will be receiving 2 packs of 100 Ultra Pro sleeves, Eclipse, matte black, and then 1 Arm for Battle and 1 Reap the Tides. So whether you want to then re-gift our gift to someone to gift them into Commander, or if you just want to have these decks to then, bring your friends over and say like, hey, I know you don't have a deck, you can borrow this one, we'll teach you how to play. These decks are going to be great for that kind of situation. Again, once we can play in paper again. Alright. Blake, give me a drum roll, and then we're going to announce our winner. Our winner is Steve Lagoth. In addition to winning the decks that I just mentioned and the sleeves, you will also be receiving a $10 gift card to Card Kingdom provided by them. Thank you very much. So yeah. Steve, if you haven't listened to our channel before, we're happy to make sure that you have a great Christmas, have a great any kind of holiday, really, and yeah. All right, so we're going to do our outro. We are the Wizard Staff. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere else you listen to your podcasts. Make sure to leave a like and review. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at WizardStaff101. You can send us an email at thewizardstaff101@gmail.com if you want to tell us how handsome we are. And thank you very much for listening, and we hope you have a jolly Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever. Have a great time, stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much. Peace.